What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It's your man, Dame D, NYDC, host of the Two Mics Up podcast. Back again today with another brand new episode. Today, Leash, we have, I think, an amazing guest. Really found a lot of interest in what she's doing and what she has going on in the community. And I really think our young women really need to tune in and take a listen. So before we introduce our guest, Lisa, how you doing today, Queen?
Hey everyone, hey bruh, hey listeners. I'm doing good. I'm glad to see you survived our live last week. If those of you who watch us on Thursdays at our live, Dame has made it another week.
Yo,
So
3 weeks in a row, I'm here. I got all
three
my
three
fingers
weeks.
told. My wife ain't put me out. I'm good.
Yes. So I'm excited on today, and I'm excited about our guest, especially today, Miss Christine Leeman. Did I
hmm
say that right? Christina
Christina. hmm
Leeman, an author of Worth More Than Diamonds. I like
hmm
that.
hmm
I like that. And founder of She Who Honors.
Yes, indeed. Christina,
Yes.
please take a moment and go ahead and introduce yourself to our guest. Give us a little more information about who you are.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me here. I'm Christina Leeman, an author of Worth More Than Diamonds. Discover your priceless value to God because you are made to shine. That's the title. And it's for teen girls. I am a wife, a mother. I have a Master of Public Health. I was a certified health education specialist. I've had 10 years of ministry experience with women and children. And I am also a part time the missions coordinator at my church, Allegheny Center Alliance Church in the Pittsburgh area. Thank
Cool.
you for having me here.
Well, it's really our honor to have you on today to honor us and our young women with all of everything that you're working with in the community. Especially in the Pittsburgh area. And speaking of which, how are things going there? I know it's been tough with the pandemic here in the DMV area. But how have things been? Dealing with that with young women up in Pittsburgh.
Mhm. Well, we've had, there was some time that it was pretty rough, and we did the quarantining, but it's actually starting to come. Where actually it's gone down a lot, so it's
hmm
not hit it as it's starting to get better here. People are getting their vaccines. Been a lot of awareness in teaching and training, especially in the at-risk population, for them to use their mask and things like that. So I think I mean, it hit us, but not as hard as some areas.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's really good, and I'm glad to hear that things are returning to normal there. I'm going to turn over to Lisa. I know Lisa had some questions that she wanted to open up with.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just so intrigued by your work. And first, let me just say thank you because the work that you do is very integral and very important in our community. So I do want to just say thank you. And I know that I personally feel like our youth, our next generation, are very important, for our legacy. So I do take my hat off to you, Christina, and thank you for that. So tell us, our listeners, what is your passion?
Mhm. Well, my passion is for helping teen girls to develop emotionally, physically, and spiritually into strong women.
Mm.
There's so much out there that is against girl teens, and there's not a lot of positive influence for teen girls. And so that is my passion, is just to help them to know that they are worth it, that they have value, and that they do have a significant part in this world.
Wow, that is so deep, and I really resonate with that because I find that in the work that I do, that girls, right, specifically young girls, especially at-risk girls, they
Mhm.
are 10 times more likely to be in trouble in school and adultified. They just not
Mm,
seen as children. So I really resonate with that, especially in that area, because I think our women and it's already enough being a black woman, right?
right,
Mhm.
right.
Because it's
Yeah.
enough being a woman, and then imagine a young mind who's trying to find themselves, who's maybe going through something and misunderstood, don't have
Hmm.
the guidance, don't
Right.
have
Right.
the leadership that is
Right.
totally needed for that. So I definitely resonate with that. What inspires you to begin your what inspired you to begin your journey as an author?
Well, as a young child, well, I always loved to read and I always loved to write. And my first job was working at my library. And so I would, I was a page, they called them page back then. So I would put the books away. And I would always end up finding all these books that I had like a pile that I'd want to take home. But writing has been part of my just part of my journey. That's one of my identities is learning how to write.
Mm.
And for the book, what inspired me for writing this specific book is I actually volunteer at it's called Urban Impact here in the Pittsburgh area, and we work with a lot of at-risk children. And I work with girls from ages from grades 3 through 12, and a lot of them have issues, behavioral issues. Sometimes they're just clingy, sometimes they're angry, sometimes it's this and that. And the Lord is showing me is because they don't realize that they have value. So if they're not treated with value, it's their environment. So the environment they're in, our environment has a lot to do with how we are with our actions, right?
Hmm.
And so if they're not realizing they're valued, they're not going to value things and other people.
Mm.
So, and I want to tell them I love on them, and it's not always what we say, but what we do with them, the girls. And so I started writing this book, and then I would use some of the girls as a focus group, so they would let me know if it's something that they'd like, what I would what to add to it, what to take away. And so the finished project became worth more than diamonds. And
Mm.
we actually used it as a Bible study with some of the girls at the where I volunteer, Urban Impact.
Wow.
That's amazing. Uh, I, I'm listening, and this just still sounds somewhat part of like the broken cycle that we still have in our community. um and I'm just interested to know, like, from this focus group and using it in the church in the way that you've been using it, have you seen any success or change stories come about through using this in that manner? Because I mean, I'm hoping that people are hearing this, that there is a way out, or there
Right.
is a way towards change. Could you share a story of maybe success or change that you experienced?
Yeah, so and one of the groups, so we would have different Bible studies, and I got invited to the one group of the girls, and they just were so intrigued, and they loved that this booklet was. It's actually a booklet 'cause it's small. Is focused towards them, and then also being written by someone who's of color too.
Hmm.
It helps them to, I can identify with a lot of things that they're going with, so they like it. They love to learn that they are worth more than diamonds. They like to do the little activities. So yeah, it's when you speak truth into their lives, I pray that it's in their hearts, and so it will grow and it block, so it'll grow with them and they can blossom into the women that God has
Hmm.
created them to be. Because,
Right.
I felt worthless even up till my grown up years. So if we start helping them learn the truth now when they're young, then they may not have to deal with some of the things that us women when we're, that we deal with to heal. So they were already healed while they're growing up to be strong and be able to do what God called them to do. So that's one of the reasons why I wrote that too.
That's awesome. And again, excuse me, Lisa. I'm just intrigued because I still ask. So even as a father of a daughter, I really tried my best to instill value in her, in things that my wife and I talked about. And forgive me, like, I'll be damned if another man tells her her value. I felt that she should have that instilled from that male figure. Like, I tell my daughter every day how beautiful she is, how much I love her, how much she can. The world is her oyster, and then talk to her as that man, because I was a young man at one time, to give her a man's perspective of her and what she may get. And do you think that's really the biggest piece that may be missing in some of what you've seen, not having that male influence or that positive male influence in our young
Mm-hmm.
women?
Oh
Mm.
yes,
Absolutely.
fatherlessness. It's a sad thing, and so both parents are very important, right?
Yes,
We all
yes.
have the different roles, but there's something about that father in their daughter, the father in a girl's life. That's
Hmm.
their first love, right?
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
your father can be your first love. And when you have a good relationship, no, nothing's ever perfect. But when
Right.
they have a healthy relationship, they can see men as they can see men in a healthy way, and they can see their self in a healthy way. Instead of when the father is not around or the father is emotionally not there, then they are seeking after they're trying to get those needs met that a father only a father can do, and they'll try to meet those needs in other ways that are
Right.
not healthy for them. Hmm.
Mm. Awesome.
And that's the very important part, I think, is because when you do not have the father in the home, it is very, very important to know your worth. Because
right.
then when you're seeking validation or filling a void somewhere else, if you are do not have self-worth or value yourself, then
Hmm.
that's our pitfalls. That's where we
Right.
can get into
Right.
trouble. So it
Right.
is very, very important work that is being
Well,
done.
and that's why I think it is important with this because it seemed like this. Not to say it's a supplement, but this is a good way for our young women to come together and to be able to, socially work together towards building up some type of unity and understanding within themselves. And I think this is great.
Hmm.
If I'm correct in saying that.
Yes, yes, we all have, and even I mean, we all have intrinsic value. We
Mm-hmm.
are just because we are humans, we are made in His image. Everyone has value, and
Mm-hmm.
I believe when we all realize the value that we have, it builds us up, and we can build others up instead of trying to tear down. But if we all realize that people have value, it that's like a strong foundation,
Mm-hmm.
right, for
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
relationships.
Well,
Hmm.
Absolutely.
I have to ask because I mean we've talked about it in some sense, but worth more than diamonds. Like that it's catchy, but yet it's something that is easy to remember and it resonates.
Yeah.
And I don't want to assume, but I'm going to guess somewhere within you, those words came to fruition through maybe something you were going through. So can you talk a little bit more about that and the development of that phrase?
Yes. Well, so when I was growing up, I just see how the Lord worked. I was bullied growing up. I even felt worthless, and even as
Mm,
into an adult. So I had a story of myself. Even knowing the Lord, there was still some lies I believed, right? Because
mm-hmm.
it's when we believe, act on what we believe, and so I was believing some lies, and that I didn't have value and worth myself. And then I've learned the truth, and I stand on the truth, and I believe that I have worth. We are all worth dying for, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so that name just comes. I know it's the Lord, worth more than diamonds, right? We all like bling. You always see about bling and like little girls. And look, I love to wear like bling and jewelry. So why not talk about worth more than diamonds? And so that what I focus on in the book is the Hope Diamond, which is one of the most expensive, has the most valuable diamond. And also, diamonds are so interesting because I'm sure you know that diamonds are created from 1,000 miles in the earth. They're
Mm-hmm.
all
Right.
and they're from pressure,
Mm-hmm.
And the uncut diamond is really ugly, but
Mm-hmm.
whenever it's like polished and buffed and things like that, it becomes brilliant. So that's one of the things about growing up is we're uncut diamond at a certain age, but the polish and um, different things that we
Grooming.
go through helps to
Hmm.
make us shine.
Mm. Yeah, I
Mhm.
love that. And you said something in that, and it disturbs me. And I don't know if you would care to share, because I know a lot of young women deal with bullying, and I think bullying may have changed somewhat now with social media. Um, how did you deal with that, and how do you see it being maybe applied today with some of the kids that you deal with? With social
Mhm.
media is terrible
Oh, it
with
is.
these kids
Yes.
today. But how did
What
you deal with that?
how I dealt with it, my family, I knew I had a family that loved me, that helped. I grew up in the church. My environment, I mean, it would hurt. It does hurt. Words does hurt, but just knowing, praying, keeping myself busy. I would read books, so that helped, and just having someone pour into me. But
Mm,
it still did affect me a little. But now
Hmm.
today, it's hard because we have to, as parents, because I'm a parent of teen girls.
mm,
It's rough, and so we are responsible to make sure they're not watching something right, that they shouldn't, that they letting them know that like they are worth, and that not having people talk to them in a certain way, and just knowing what the truth about them, because bullying is not, that's all untruths people are spitting out. And
Right.
also letting them know that sometimes the people that do bully, they're hurting too, and they don't
Mm.
understand how to deal with that, so they want everyone else to feel bad too. So
Mm.
it's making them know, the truth about themselves, and um, helping them to realize how other people are feeling, being aware of their feelings and other people's feelings too.
Mm. Wow. That's a great story, and thanks for sharing
Mm-hmm.
that, because I think I don't know if I think back to when I was a kid or younger, and how, I mean, bullying was, and
It
you
was
really had to.
bad.
It was bad, right? You know what I mean? Let's just call it was bad. But nowadays it seems like it's so much more, because kids are, and the only way I can say it is like, if you don't like my post or you don't like my picture, like it's the end of the world for our youth today. And I mean, I don't want to say it to be funny, but some of our youth out here killing themselves
Yes.
over
Hmm.
it,
No, it's
and
true. No,
Yes.
and it's
David,
sad.
see, you're right. You're
Hmm.
absolutely right, because
Yep.
we can say, as because we're all of a particular age, when we were bullied, it was confined, right,
Right.
Hmm.
to the
Very much so.
school, to the
Right.
block, maybe the church, or it
Mm-hmm.
was that, just that area. But
Right.
today, it's it can span beyond,
Yes.
because now if you post it, it's out for the whole
The
world. So not
world.
only, like when we were there, we had the one bully, right, that we
Mm-hmm.
had to face, maybe, or we stayed away from, or whatever that was. But now it's multiple people
Multiple.
adding on for the world to see. So
Yes,
that
indeed.
type of bullying is magnified, if you will,
Hmm.
like tenfolds over, because imagine how we felt
Right.
when we were being bullied in our
Hmm.
retrospective areas, right? But it was
Yep.
one bully, or maybe
Yeah.
two, right? But
Yeah.
now you can have 50 all
It-
on one post
Post.
making
Yeah.
fun of you and things like
Mm-hmm.
that. So to a child, that 50, 100, 200 people are, in their mind, the world seeing this
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
unimaginable. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's like, okay, they don't see any other way, because in their head it feels like the world is laughing at
You
them.
you you
You
you right. You're
Hmm.
right.
know?
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
true. Very
Yeah.
true.
Hmm.
Well, I don't know. But before we get into the second segment, I want to take a pause for the cause to thank our sponsors who are continuously supporting Two Mics Up. Without our sponsors, TD3 Insurance and Regina Leggett, of Legal Shield, we really appreciate all they do, and we ask you all to go out and support small businesses in your area. TD3 Insurance Agency protects and covers all insurance needs, from home, auto, renters, motorcycles, commercial, and more. TD3 is licensed in the DMV, North Carolina, and New York. Brand new office, 3985 Prince William Parkway, Suite 206 in Woodbridge, Virginia. Our sister Regina, are you worrying about a legal problem? Do you need legal advice or legal representation? Get the legal advice or counsel or representation that you need. You can contact Regina Leggett at reginaleggett.wearelegalshield.com. Regina's out there helping those who are on the front line daily, especially here in the DMV. So check her out. And now that we're back, we want to go ahead and slide into the second part of our segment. And I just have to ask, Christina, what are some of the other services that you provide to, young women really understanding their worth?
Well, we were going to have a conference in April 2021, but with COVID, that went away. So I'm prayerfully want to have another conference, like a Worth More Than Diamonds conference, either in August or next year, and eventually have it like traveling.
Hmm.
I can coach, mentor, and I'm going to be offering. It's called a Kingdom Living Academy that is starting soon, and that can be for teen girls up to. And it's just talking about living out the kingdom
Mm-hmm.
way, and talking about identity, abiding in the Lord, anchored in truth, um, knowing your worth, things
Mm-hmm.
like that. So that's what I have coming up. But the conference is the big thing. I really would hopefully be able to do that soon.
Okay. Well, there was something that you mentioned in there that I wanted to change lanes to real quick, and talking about faith, and belief in the Lord. Like, in your experiences with today's young women, you're like, where do you find that faith in the Lord kind of falls, and where does it fall in that pecking order?
Unfortunately, it's not up top because of all they have so much coming in. There's the social media, they have TV, there's music, there's school activities. Today, there's COVID now, but there's their attention. It's almost like it's not the top, the
Mm.
top. You know,
And I'm sorry to hear that. Look like you froze up just for a moment, but
oh,
Yeah,
I'm
just
going
a
to take
minute.
from you that as you were saying, you said that is no longer at the top anymore,
mhm.
in their experiences. Am I correct in saying?
Yes, I did say
Okay.
that. Yes, I said there were so many other voices and things that are like almost competing for, the Lord's attention. But in the end, He is He's Lord, He's sovereign. But
Mm.
it's I believe it's up to that's where mentors come in, and their parents, and even like the churches, and trying to. I'm old school, right? And so that is what, I believe, we all have our choice, right? We do have a
Hmm.
choice. But I believe that at least give the children, they need to know that at least that foundation, a spiritual foundation, have it in their life first. And then, they can make the choice. But give them that, give them a reason. There's a reason and a
Mm.
purpose for their life, and let them know about that.
Right. Got it.
Mhm.
Well
Okay.
said.
Well, that was well said. I like that,
Hmm.
Christina.
Hmm.
Thank you.
So talk to our listeners about your beautifully named gift. I love this. The beloved box.
Thank
I
you.
love that.
Well, I love alliteration because, right, they are God's beloved girls. We are His
Hmm.
beloved women, and so beloved box. It has the Worth More Than Diamonds a booklet.
Mm.
It has scrunchies. It has stickers, a cute diamond pin, um, handcrafted soap from a woman who is a friend of mine. She makes these neat soaps, and then yeah, and then leather friendship
Oh.
bracelets that me and my children have made, my daughters have made. I guess I can show a little bit. So that's the leather
Yes, let's
box.
see
And
this.
you see
Yeah. 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 Open
it?
it up. Open it up. All right. Slide it
Oh
over just the other way. There you
There
go.
we
yes.
go.
Oh
So
yes.
there's the
Nice.
Okay. Does
Oh.
that come? Oh, that comes when you order the book.
no, it's another offer. It's a beloved box, and it has a book in it.
Mm. Okay.
Yes, and so there's stickers, and the stickers are different. So there's a different for each box. It's assorted, but they'd all get two scrunchies, a diamond pin. Here's the diamond pin. A
Ah.
diamond
Yeah.
pin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, my granddaughter would love that.
Hmm.
And then there's a friendship bracelet. They're made out of leather, and it's pink and black because that is the colors of.
Mhm.
And then this is one of the soaps. Oh, I don't know why I can't.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
there's
Oh,
that's nice. There you
nice,
yeah,
go. Nice.
they
nice.
smell really good. And she's a black owned business.
Nice.
She makes that herself. But that's the Beloved Box, and there's a few of them left. But you can get that at my on my website. The Beloved Box is only through my website. That's ChristinaLeeman.com.
Okay, okay.
Awesome. Awesome. Love it. So with that then, Christina, we're gonna ask them, like, so what else is next? So what else do you have on your slate coming up? You talked about, the box and all that. Is there any books or
Mhm.
anything new coming down the pipe in a book line? Like, what's going on?
Yes. Well, I do have a book coming out, and it's actually for adults, and it's called The Rule and Reign of the Kingdom of God, and it's a storybook journal through your kingdom journey, and that's it's like a 9 week journal. But for the teens, I'm going to be doing a journal, and that's hopes, dreams, and imaginations journals, because I
Mm-hmm.
want girls.
Nice.
They need to. We need girls need to use their brains and imaginations. I don't, he doesn't want them to stop dreaming.
Right.
And sometimes we're told, oh, you can't do this or you can't do that, or they're just it's so narrow focused because they think they have to be like movie stars or singers or rappers, but there's more to us. There's more to
Mm-hmm.
these girls. And so this hopes and imagination journals, it will help them to learn more about themselves and to write and just to see, just to dream, hope, and imagine in themselves and in their
Wow.
future.
I love
And
it.
listen, that just catapulted me back to my childhood because I had one of those, well, we used to call it a diary, but I had one of those. And, I don't want to date myself, but,
Right.
and you would write and you would just, and that was way before what we have so much imagery, right? That was before we had so consuming so much of social media, TV, and all of that. You had to sit with yourself and think about
Yep.
Yeah.
what you saw. What did you imagine yourself with? How you were going to be. Where you going? Like I remember me and my niece, we would compare our notes, and you know we wanted to be this and that, and now
Mm-hmm.
I think that is a perfect idea, just to kind of reel back in a little bit, because we need to get back to not what we see but what we think of
Yeah.
Yep.
ourselves,
Self.
you
Right.
I
know.
agree. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
Yes.
it's funny
Hmm.
how you mention that because I know that it didn't date yourself. But I think back to when my daughter was a child or young.
Hmm.
I don't know. Maybe that's maybe a young girl's thing because I think about it because she even kept a journal. Um,
Hmm.
and I didn't really realize it until maybe she was maybe 13 or 14 that she had been, keeping a journal. And I don't
Hmm.
know if that's something that young women, I don't know if they find that intrinsically, like, through communication with each other. Because as a young man, when I think about like, we didn't write nothing down. Like, we didn't. What am I writing this? Like, I don't know if that's just like something intrinsic in the DNA of, men and women.
Hmm.
I don't know a lot of men that actually sat down and wrote down anything in a journal. God forbid. Hell, I mean, excuse what I'm about to say. I wouldn't want anybody to know some of the thoughts maybe I had, But I think, but again, though, for women though, that may be therapeutic though. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I know, I
Well,
don't know.
yeah, it's a woman thing as well as it's a girl thing. We write, we like penmanship, we like nice pens, like
Hmm.
like
Oh, true.
Christina
Or that
has.
bling one, because
Like
my wife
soon
has
as
a
I
whole
saw,
bunch of those. My wife
yes,
has a
like
whole bunch
soon
of
as
those.
I
She
saw
loves
that
those. Yeah.
pen, I'm thinking, oh, my granddaughter would go crazy
Yeah.
just for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we write because that's a way I think, and I'm no expert, but I just
Mhm.
think that that's the way that women really express themselves out loud.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Mhm. Yeah.
I need to work on. I need to talk to some young men. I don't know. We might need to incorporate that in what we're doing. Might
Yeah.
help us um, to become better communicators and expressing ourselves because we're terrible at it. Let's just keep it real. We're terrible. And I'm just talking as a man. I
That
know
may
we're
be
terrible.
why. That
No,
may be
I'm being
why.
honest. Like, it's funny, like when you get older, right? And and this is the blessing of being on this platform. You meet so many different people who are coming, and this is what I say, Lee, you hear me say, though, we are, as people of color, we are divine in its creation.
Mhm.
And we're so talented, and we have so much talent. We come from so many different aspects. And being here to be able to sit with a woman that's doing something like this, like sometimes I walk away from shows like I have to think, like, damn, could I be doing better or could I have been better as a person, as a young man?
Mm.
Could I have
Of
influenced more
course.
people? You know what I'm saying? And
We
now,
all
like,
think that. Yeah.
Yeah.
but how
Yeah.
do you incorporate it now though into your life? And
I was gonna say um you still have purpose. You still can influence people.
hmm
Like, you don't always want to look at your past. What is happening now? What can you do now and in the future?
hmm
And it's not about young or old. Like, he's God redeems time.
oh,
So,
true,
I know I've done some dumb stuff, but I can't stay at that, right?
right, right,
Forgive me, I forgave myself. I gotta move forward and don't let that past define me. So you probably influence now. You probably don't even realize it because we all
Yeah.
have influence,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
agree.
So
Uh,
you are influencing. That's
well,
something to
Yep.
think about now and into the future.
well,
That's what
Christina,
I
thank
was
you.
definitely going to say. That Dame, you have this platform. You reach out. You have a specific goal and a vision, so your influence is going far. And not only that, you have to realize like your gift is who you are,
Hmm.
communicating,
Hmm.
articulating, listening, because you're a great listener, listening and letting people express themselves. So this platform, Two Mics Up, what you're doing, empowering people like Christine Leeman, giving her a platform to help someone, that may be listening, a
True.
mom who's
True.
struggling maybe with a,
Mhm.
a young child, right? And
Right.
she can now go get the book, and help her child and read through it, and it's all
I agree.
about, yeah. So don't
No,
stop it.
no, you're right. I mean, you're right. Like, sometimes it takes others sometimes to help you see,
Hmm.
which is the
Yeah,
beauty of it. Because
yeah,
sometimes
yeah,
I'm human like every, and we all human. But how can
yeah.
you improve your? That's really at where I'm at in my life. Like, how can I continue to
Right.
prove myself to help others improve? But you brought up a
But
great
you're
point.
doing good.
Well, thank you, and I thank you because I have you helping me. I have you helping me. So thank you.
Well,
Um,
you seek out people like Christina, right?
mhm.
So
Uh,
this is empowering. So this is your fulfilling your dream on educating, empowering, and impacting your community. There you
You're
go,
100%
bro.
right. Thank you, sis. I appreciate you. That's why I keep you around. I need you. You help me. But before we go, Christina, Lisa brought up a very good point. Could you please share, again, your website, where people can find you, where can they go buy your book? I really want to make sure that, people do, like Lisa said, reach out to you because I think this is an awesome thing that you're
Me
working
too.
on. I think more of our
Hmm.
community needs to take part
Me
Thank
in it.
you.
too.
Well, you can find out more about me at my website, and that's www.christinaleeman.com. And it's on there, my name, christinaleeman.com. My on social media, Instagram is at She Who Honors. Facebook, She Who Honors CL or Christina Leeman. I actually have a Facebook group called Fear Fighter Boot Camp, and I help women to fight fear so they can do what God called them to do.
Okay.
And I'm talking about fear of man because that is paralyzing. So I help encourage, train, equip, and even with me, like I'm still, so it's a group that it's a fun group. Um, She Who Honors on YouTube. That's another place
All
that
right.
I'm on. Oh, I'm
Well,
sorry. You can buy the book at Amazon and Barnes and Nobles, and also on my website.
all right. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Lisa, before we close out this amazing show, because we definitely learned about She Who Honors. Uh, you have anything you'd like to share before we close out, sis?
Now, I thought that it was an excellent show. It was definitely a pleasure, Mrs. Lehman, to meet you. I am so proud of you and the work that you are doing. So I do appreciate you as a mother, as a black woman, and as a woman of faith. So thank you for doing the work.
All
Oh,
day. Agreed.
you're welcome. Thank you.
All right, listeners. So before we go, I want to close out and make sure that I get our remaining sponsors who are also helping to support Two Mics Up. We want to start with our friends over at Next Level Keys and Riddick Entertainment. As always on Two Mics Up, as we say, support small businesses in your community. Next Level Keys, you will find is a full service credit card repair firm. At Next Level Keys, the goal is to help get you to that next level. It could be qualifying for a mortgage, getting that new car, or getting funds for your business. Contact our friend Quan at Next Level Keys at support at nextlevelkeys.com. Um, Riddick Entertainment. Riddick Entertainment is a multifaceted event management firm based in Northern Virginia. Whether designing weddings, milestone celebrations, or corporate events, Riddick Entertainment's detailed creativity and precision event planning will give you a truly meaningful and memorable experience. Contact Riddick Entertainment at info@riddickent.com. I also like to thank our friends over at 94 Media House, our marketing branding team for Two Mics Up. You can find them at 94mediahouse at gmail.com. And also check out our brand new shop at Two Mics Up. Follow us online and social media at Two Mics Up, IG, Facebook, and Twitter, and now also on YouTube. Make sure if you're watching this, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, hit the bell so you can get all the notifications from Two Mics Up. And like we always do at this time, stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out.
Mhm.